Hey everyone, it's 10 Types, and today we gotta take a look at some new cards. I'm releasing, I think, two videos today. I'm also releasing one talking about Pokemon TCG Pocket, but it's a bit of a downer, unfortunately, and a bit like weird. I feel like it didn't deliver on the same. It's not necessarily, it's not like a normal video of mine. It's a weird video, but I don't know if it's out. It's probably out by now, and if you've seen it, you've seen it. But what we are taking a look at is going to be something that's actually coming out before Pokemon TCG Pocket, which is coming out October 30th. This is Supercharged Breaker coming out October 18th, which is the Japanese set. So if you're international, which presumably you are international, I say international a lot. I mean like not Japan, international of Japan. I don't live in Japan. I live in U.S., so I'm referring to myself in that as well. But that would be inserting Sparks in November, and that is obviously not before Pocket, but whatever. My Surging Sparks will also be made up of Paradise Dragona. This is Supercharged Breaker, as I said, which has like Pikachu EX and it's got some cool cards. I've talked about some of them, but and this was actually these were released and like or revealed like essentially immediately after I like recorded one of my previous reveals videos, which I did like released a few days ago, which it was like one of my worst performing videos ever, but it's like I should do it again. It was where with the Meowstic, which that card was cool, but we have some really cool cards as well. We got Rabsca here. We got Railer as well, but Railer ain't doing too much here. Rabsca, of course, there is the really good Rabsca. Let me pull it up here. I'm sure most of you, or some of you are familiar, probably a lot of you, with Spherical Shield. Prevent all damage from and effects of attacks from your opponent's Pokemon done to your bench Pokemon. There's Machamp in Expanded, which is similar, but not the exact same. This will be protecting you from all effects of your attacks done to your bench Pokemon, not just damage counters, and then also protects regular damage. It is useful and is quite a good card, unlike the other Rabsca, unfortunately. But yeah, no, this is this is a funny card, but no, this is a very good card. Um, but also it's not like it's not a broken card. It has value in certainly some different decks, but it's generally a class by mana fee. But just consider that for this Rabsca. It's not like they have synergy, but you would be playing it then, so it does have value there and adds value to any Rabsca. It has this attack here, which says, well, that's triple drop, but then it has twist ending for one grass 40. But if there are three or fewer cards in your deck, this attack does 200 more damage. That obviously would be 240, and that is a lot. Now, is it enough, or is it like too much? Like, I don't know. This is kind of a weird damage number to hit. Like when you're looking at how much damage do I want to hit? I guess 240 is a very fair number. You're one-shotting pretty much every two prize in basic. I don't really know how many you aren't, but it's most of them that you're one-shotting, and including Raging Bolt EX, which is at 240. So 240 is definitely a meaningful number there. But they could have like a tool attached, so it's certainly not everything. But it is solid. How hard is it to get down to this few cards in deck? It's hard. I can't really think of the last time I like tried to do it, but actually no, I think it was that video where I like decked myself out using the Oranguru glitch and expanded. But it's not usually a normal thing to do. There are ways to do it, but they're like kind of weird. And then of course you have the big issue of like you're essentially decking yourself out. So if you actually deck yourself out, you lose, right? If you can't draw any cards at the start of your turn. So you need to be very careful there. There's a comfy, it says each player draws three cards, your opponent can just comfy and you instantly lose. So obviously that's not great. That is it's a one Saigon in basic, which is very payable. It could be teched into a lot of decks, but it's not something that'll be teched into every deck. If Rabsca is good, or there's another card like this which we'll look at, which I think is better. Rabsca is an evolution. 40 for 1 is obviously not very good. The other Rabsca, like they don't have good attacks. This does 10, 30 more for each energy attached to your opponent's active, which is solid. I mentioned two prize basics. Of course, you want to be looking at two prize evolutions, which are very good as well. What we're looking at is 280 to like the mid to low 300s. And obviously this is not that, right? So it's not one-shotting this, except for Charizard EX, which is weak to you, which is very meaningful. So it is one-shotting a lot of the best decks in the game, not all of them though. And this is a card which obviously has to be a bit of a build around. You need to be drawing lots and discarding lots. It is definitely doable and kind of fun. Definitely something I might try out. But the upside is it's okay. You have really low HP. Like this is gonna get absolutely messed. Well, probably like I was gonna say messed up by Dragapult. You do have the other Rabsca, which is it's really here to counter Dragapult, but also the Rellor just has 40 HP, which is bad. I think they all have 40. I'm not actually showing that one. Oh. Oh no, they have 50, most of them. So yeah, never mind. You have 50, which is better. It's not that much better though. So um, they will be getting destroyed by Dragapult. Certainly, they don't have 70, which is what you're looking for. But Rabsca having 70 is like really bad. So you definitely want to be very careful there. Like you're probably not winning that one because they can attack. I mean, you're still like trading evenly. At that point, they're just one-shotting you're two-shotting them, and I don't think you're ever really. Maybe you could like boss knock out a Pheasantip EX or Rotom V to pull ahead in the prize trade there. And if you're knocking out multiple Dragapults, you're probably winning the game anyways because it's awkward for them to set up like a third one. But there's lots of weird stuff that probably will not go well for you there. Like I don't think this is particularly strong. I mean, it is very in terms of raw numbers, it is very strong. But there was a card that I expect to see play. I don't, and I don't think it's like a super high potential card unless we see some like crazy card that can just like thin massive amounts of cards out of your deck. Which of course there is the new ace spec. Actually, a lot of people might not know about this ace spec. It's coming in the Sylveon EX deck, and it just mills 5 from your deck as an ace spec as an item, which it or no, it doesn't not mill. I mean, you choose the 5. You look for 5, you discard them. It's okay. I mean, it's not bad, but it's probably not that good of an ace spec. Like I guess you play it, but Secret Box might be better as well for just like turboing. But if this was a basic, it would be like super good, I feel like. But it's not. If it was a basic and did less damage, I feel like it would be super good. But being an evolution, especially with this low HP, is not good. Then we're gonna skip. Oh, this is Capsicid, which evolved into Scovillain, but it's Capsicid's grass here. Then we have Wo-Chien, and Wo-Chien is cool. You can do grass colors 130 and mill 3 from the top of your deck. It also has the same thing where you want 3 or fewer cards in deck, but um, or no, it's just called Whip. Is this like good? And by the way, these are translated the attack names, so I feel like this attack name Greed Hazard and Twist Ending will have some like similarity in their name that just like makes sense to me. But anyways, Whip is not good. It's not something that's gonna be like setting you up to hit with your mill attack either because it's so expensive. Like it's more expensive than the mill attack. But anyways, Greed Hazard here does 20, but if you have 3 or fewer cards in deck, it does 120 damage to 2 of your opponent's bench Pokemon, which is more damage than the Rabsca. It is 2 target damage, or 3 target damage. It's only more damage with the 3 target damage, but it is more damage. This seems pretty good to be honest. Not that you're getting much value out of the 20, but you might be getting some. It's kind of like Kyurem, right? It's like Kyurem. I feel like there are other Pokemon like it. There's some Stellars that aren't out yet, but Kyurem's definitely a good card, a very meta impactful card right now. It's not like I wouldn't call it a meta-defining card right now. If you're a Lost Zone player, it might be considered that, but Wo-Chien, this seems fun, like being a basic. It's definitely kind of awkward to pay with two energies. You could use Heal Master Ogerpon EX, but that's not like an early game great attacker. It kind of helps you thin your deck, but it's not like insane at it. It's thinning 1 card for each Ogerpon each turn, which is not terrible actually. That might be good enough. Something like Morpeko, which can just discard the top card of your deck every turn, might be played for that reason because it's thinning 1 card, but it's not that fast, right? So I feel like you're looking at I don't really know what there is in standard. You're looking at something obviously that discards your entire hand, um, but there aren't really cards like that. I mean, there's like Professor's Research, that's pretty good, but I'm not exactly sure what you're doing here. You could just play like lots of items. There are ways to just kind of churn through your deck, so it could be doable. And on a basic, I feel like it's more feasible. With this really high upside attack where you have really powerful bench damage, that is, as I said, like you're honestly like a lot in terms of actual damage. Obviously, Kyurem hits 3. This is only hitting 2, so that is noticeably worse there. But Kyurem can really do board wipes on 2 prizers. I'd say that's not necessarily what you're looking here, but also you're not like wiping out basics at the beginning because it is so hard to pull off. But I definitely do like Wo-Chien more than the Rabsca. Though we do have Scovillain EX. I have like a bit of a complaint about this card, which you'll see in just a moment. Just kind of, it's like kind of goofy, but it's not bad. It's just like it's like a wasted I don't know. It feels a little wasted mechanically. But you have the ability to double type it unless this Pokemon is in play. It is grass and fire, and its attack is two fires. And it does 70, or it has 10 base and 70 more for each damage count on this Pokemon. It does have 260 HP, which is okay, but it's not like consistently surviving attacks. So, um, obviously, if you get hit by Charizard, or no, not Charizard. Let's do something with consistent damage, which would be Dragapult with just one attack. If you get hit by two, if you get hit by the bench, then the active you'll die. But if you get hit by one, then you have 200 damage on you, 20 damage counters. That's a lot that you're doing. You're doing 1400 or 50, yeah, 1410 damage. That's a lot of damage. Um, we've seen attacks like this in the past. Like there's this Incineroar GX, which had a GX attack that could hit like 1,000 damage occasionally. But that's like rare, and obviously it doesn't matter if you do like 14, if you do like 1,000 or like 2,000 damage, or if you do like 500 or like 300, really like 300 or 330, 340, whatever number you're looking at for those highest Pokemon. You don't need to do absurd amounts of damage beyond that, but you can in certain scenarios. But what you're looking at here is probably Magma Basin. There are ways, like you could do damage. What damage pump, is that what it is? Yeah, damage pump, to move up to 2 damage counters from one of your Pokemon to your other Pokemon anyway you like, presumably to the same Scovillain. You can move off of. There are some ways to do this. There's also, I said Magma Basin. There's also Gape Shot Bog. Rotation is something to consider with these cards as well, and those cards will be rotating. Like all those cards are going to be rotating. So then I don't really know what you do with this card. I don't remember exactly the other cards in this reveal, but I feel like they're not. Yeah, they're not really going to be helping with that too much. But yeah, you have the Scovillain EX. It is dual type as well. This dual typing thing's like kind of fun. It's something I really like. It was something I was kind of hoping Pokemon would let you like play around a lot with types with the Terra mechanic. That being said, there's a Scovillain with the same ability as well. It is a grass Pokemon. But then, of course, these are the types that Scovillain is normally. So you're playing Capsicid. So you're obviously already hitting Fire Weakness, right? That's like not it's not useful to also be fire type because you're already fire type. But then you're also grass type. But you could be playing like just a different you could just be playing a grass Scovillain. It's not like super free to play it because it is going to be using grass energy, but you could just play that. So it's not like the type coverage is like some crazy new type coverage to your deck. Like it's a cool ability. I think double type Pokemon are theoretically really fun to have type coverage. Right now, type coverage is just not really a thing in the Pokemon TCG standard format, like metagame, because a lot of the top decks are dragon decks and they don't have any weakness. And then you look at like the other decks and it's like, it's meaningful. I'm going to take a look at online. Okay, there we go. So you have, Regional Ogrepon's the top deck again. Okay. But you have Charizard. So Regional Ogerpon is Dragon. Dragapult is obviously also Dragon. Regidrago detests Dragon. It's Dragon. So three of the top five. Though I do stand by that Regional is not. I don't think it's the best deck in the game. I don't think too many people think it's the best deck in the game. But you have like Charizard, which has a weakness of grass, which is not grass text. That's like not really a thing. Then you have Trap Ghost, which is fighting weak. I don't really know if there's fighting text. I gotta assume there are like some, but like there aren't any like great tech. Pokemon just isn't like printing a ton of tech Pokemon. That are based on weakness. They are printing some like Kyurem and stuff like that, but yeah, so that is weak to fighting, and then you have weakness to darkness, but weakness doesn't matter that much with Gardevoir. Lugia Archeops, weakness again doesn't matter as much and is slightly varied. Maraudon again is weak to fighting. Snorlax's weakness doesn't really matter. Roaring Moon weakness also doesn't really matter. Palkia is weak to lightning. Iron Thorns is yet again weak to fighting. Fighting, it's traditionally one of the best weaknesses, and yet again still is. Pidgeot is like, I don't know, weakness doesn't really matter that much in this matchup. Pidgeot is obviously played in other decks and is weak to lightning though. And then you have, I mean, it's the same decks, right? These are actually like the same decks we talked about, just with different stuff. I mean, Ancient Box isn't, but weakness doesn't really matter that much. So weakness isn't very meaningful. Specifically being fire type and grass type, like being grass type, I guess, is solid for hitting Charizard EX for weakness and is arguably the best deck in the game. But also, obviously, it's it's like it's not like that. They could have just made it grass and it would have been like the same thing, right? But it would have been better. It would have been better because you could actually get like the energy on easier. But it's okay. I do like the ability. The attack can hit for absurd amounts of damage. But will it be good enough? Probably not. I mean, if there's like some way to get lots of damage on you, then it could be good. But right now we don't really have that. There is this Milotic EX, which we took a look at earlier. It walls Terra Pokemon. That's like super good. Pikachu EX walls all Pokemon. This is also not new, though it has a new art, which I don't know. I'm not. Looks kind of weird, and I say this a lot about like new reveals that like the picture angle, like why do they have glare on the picture? It's kind of weird. But I don't know. This Pikachu EX looks very washed out. Like it looks very pale. But anyways, that is immune to like it's not immune to all Pokemon, but instead of getting it doesn't get one-shotted by damage, so it's kind of insane. But then we have Uxie, Mesprit, and Azelf. And Uxie, pretty simple, painful memories for 2 damage or for 1 psychic on a basic. Put 2 damage counters on each of your opponent's Pokemon, which is solid. This is not bad at all. I'm trying to think of other attacks like this in the Pokemon TCG. You have oh, fine. Give me a card. There we go. You have like within spread box. What are the best attackers? There is a new. Oh, there is the Yveltal, which I feel like is like one of the best ones. To put 2 damage counters on each Pokemon that has any damage counters on it. But this they don't need damage counters on. And once you just get up your first Frostlass, they won't have any damage counters on. So this Uxie is pretty solid. 70 HP. This actually might be pretty insane with 70 HP as well because it is Buddy Buddy Pop and searchable. So this is, I mean, not like broken and insane, but pretty solid. This Uxie is definitely, well, you'll take a look at the Mesprit and the Azelf as well, and they're pretty cool as well. So this might be a solid deck with Frostlass. You definitely want to be playing this with Frostlass. There's the Mesprit, which we'll take a look at. But yeah, this is a pretty cool card. Also, this Mesprit has a fancy art, lovely. But we got Mesprit with Heart Satisfy, attach up to Psychic from your hand. It's whatever. It's a very generic attack, nothing super useful. They're not completely useless, but the attack called God Burst, which is definitely going to get changed. That's definitely not the translation. But for 2 psychic, 160, you can only use this if you have Uxie and Azelf on your bench. This is pretty strong. I mean, 160 for 2 psychic on a basic is quite good. There isn't like a ton of easy psychic acceleration in the game right now. I mean, there's like good psychic energy acceleration. It's certainly one of the better types right now. You have Gardevoir EX, and you also have Zadu. Zadu's somewhere. I don't know if it's here, but Zadu's a card that's like solid. It's a solid card, but not a basic. And Gardevoir EX is also obviously not a basic. So this isn't like a turn one thing. If this was a turn one thing, it would be pretty insane. You can one shot Squawkabilly EX with this. You can um, I mean, this is most of the HP of two priors, so like 2/3. They'll be left with maybe I mentioned the 240 number earlier, so if they have 240, they'll be left with 80, which is a bunch. But if they have like 210 or whatever, 220, they'll be 60 or less. And if you're pinging them with the Uxie or with the Frostlasses or whatever, then all of a sudden they'll get knocked out, right? So I think it is very strong here, or it's solid. Though not exactly sure how you'll get the energy on. Maybe EXP here. That could be solid. But it is awkward as well. You do want to be getting a bunch of Frostlasses in play. Then you want to be getting then you need the Uxie and the Azelf and the Mesprit in play. So, I don't know. I don't know if you can like really do that. You could use the Area Zero Underdepth Stadium, but that seems pretty crazy. In like a bad way. That's a lot of pieces that you'll be needing. And also your opponent's going to like bump that stadium probably, and then they're going to heal off their Pokemon, which is really bad for you. But there is like value in this Mesprit. I don't think it's a bad card, but I do think that Uxie is potentially very strong. Then we have the Azelf here. This Azelf is really cool with the attack and Mind Kinesis, 10 base for Psychic Colorless, 10 more for each damage counter on your opponent's Pokemon, presumably all of them. There's a Mimikyu like it. I believe it's stronger from Lost Origin. Yeah, with Worst Gift. Oh, no, it is weaker, actually. I lied. It does 10 for each damage counter on all your opponent's Pokemon. So 10 less there. I've played with this card. This card's really fun. It's not really played very much, but it's a really cool card because it can, like one-shot everything. But only like if you set up, if you've done like absurd amounts of damage and not knock anything out. You can then just start like swinging. So of course the idea here would be you set up, you Uxie a bunch, and then you Azelf, and all of a sudden you're like hitting for like 300 damage. But once you like do damage, you'll presumably take knockouts, and then you'll be hitting less damage. It's a very weird thing, but I think it is somewhat legit. Again, Azelf has essentially the same attack cost as Mesprit. Mm, I don't know if it'll be like essentially the same, but it feels essentially the same. Um, I imagine if you're playing like Psychic Energy Acceleration, which is 2 energies. So that might be a little awkward. Not like super awkward though. It's not like you need the Azelf and the Uxie and the Mesprit in play to use the Azelf or the Uxie. I mean, you need that Pokemon in play, but you don't need the others as well. They are also all Buddy Buddy Pop and Searchable, which is very good. I think these cards are legit in a fun combo of low HP basics. This is like we see lots of combo Pokemon all the time, right? We see I'm trying to think. I mean, we see like Regis, we see them some in like Stellar Crown. I think there was like multiple. There was oh no, not Stellar Crown, Silver Tempest. We had the Dedenne line, which had Pikachu and Dedenne and Togedemaru and Morpeko, and you like need to attack with them in a certain order, and they weren't very good at the end, and they were pretty terrible at the beginning. And then you have like gimmicky stuff like Claydol, but then you have the other package with the Cobalion, which like sees play, and the Tracheon, which also sees play, which are not like they're part of it. You need them on the bench, but then you have the Virizion and the Keldeo, which you can like do some funny, weird stuff with. They're not particularly good, unfortunately, but they are cards that do exist. But well, okay, they're not all bad. Specifically, the Cobalion is pretty good as a tech option, and then you also have which is like kind of attack for weakness, but it's attack by doing more damage to a specific type. So it's like the reverse. And then Tracheon, which is like a fun card. It's the card I like. But Uxie, Mesprit, and Azelf seem much more legit than that. Obviously, they're not like surviving attacks or anything, but like that. But they are going to be hitting a lot to a lot of different Pokemon and could for like basic single prizers. And I believe that they could be quite solid with, as I said, Frostlass. Then we have a few more cards to take a look at. The one is it's Scramble Switch. It's back. Scramble Switch is a goofy card, but it says switch. You know, you're active with one of your bench. Then you may move any energy from the old active to the new active, and of course, it's just an item switch. So this is a weird ace spec. Is it good? I really don't like know. I only know one use of it that I've seen, which would be well, like you could just use. There are times when it's like usable, but there's this like weird combo with Dialga in expanded with Dialga V-Star and um Electro GX and um Silene Prism Star and there's some attacker guillotine and Garchomp Tag Team GX where you like use your V-Star power and GX attack like back to back because if you know Dialga V-Star gives you an extra turn, and you like discard all your opponent's Pokemon. I think you knock out one of them with Dialga, but then you discard the like you can discard 8 Pokemon. It's like absurd. You're not gonna be discarding 8 Pokemon, but you discard all your opponent's Pokemon. It's pretty absurd, and you like have to use Scramble Switch, but that's like not that's not a very good example, was it? But that is a way that it is used. But then we got Scramble Switch here, which is played in some weird expanded decks. And then these are where's it become standard? Not that what it becomes standard here. So you could play it in like plasma decks to like switch and like do so. I mean, like it does exactly what it sounds like, moving energy around, specifically special energy as well, which is pretty cool. Um, how useful like is this? I don't know. Like, why do you need special energy on like not your Pokemon that you put it on initially? It can be used to like if you're gonna heal that Pokemon up by like scooping it up, that is a value of it. Um, or just get it out of the active. Maybe you have some other attacker that's like a similar attack cost, and then you want to like save energies. It's a funny card. It's a very gimmicky card, definitely, but does have use cases. It's like kind of gimmicky, like it's kind of like Scoop Up Cyclone. I mean, it's not a very good comparison at all, but You can use it like in this stack. You got all these energies, and you're like, okay, my active is gonna go down. Let me switch out. Let me pull out some like weird Pokemon that my opponent might not be expecting or might be expecting, but I just gotta go ahead and do something. So you do it. Um, it's cool to be back in the game. I'm not shocked. I'm also surprised like it's this late. I was kind of expecting it earlier. Um, and I'm very excited to see Scramble Switch back. It's a weird card. But then we have Clement's Quick Thinking, a supporter, heal 60 from each of your lightning Pokemon. This is kind of weird. Heal 60 is obviously not that special from one Pokemon with Cook or which is now the new replacement to Nurse. No, not Nurse Store. Um, it, uh, Pokemon Center Lady, there we go, which was heal 60 from one, and then you heal special conditions, and then Cook's heal 70. They're essentially the same in use cases, but um, yeah, this is like interesting. I don't really know the use cases of it. Like if your opponent's playing spread against your Miraidon deck, this is kind of insane, but in pretty much any other situation, it's like really niche. Because why are you having like all these lightning Pokemon in play, and they're like all getting damaged, but not a ton. Like they're not getting three. They're not getting like just barely like just your point if your opponent's like doing 180 to like a Pokemon, then this isn't gonna like do anything. If it's true like a Miraidon, like then you just heal 60 and then you just get knocked out. So you need to be like just not hitting a lot of damage. And Lightning is not a tanky type at all. There is the Pikachu EX, but this isn't doing enough. It's not like that tanky. You can kind of view it as Miraidon that's going to get two-shotted, but it's going to get two-shotted by taking like 200 damage, 190 damage. So, um, I don't know. This is kind of weird. Clement's Quick Thinking. I don't think it's like a terrible card, but actually it kind of is. I feel like it's like so niche in the use cases. Maybe we'll see some use of it. What's this set? So we can take a look at Pokemon proxies, see if there's some card that has synergy that I'm like not thinking of. No, I don't think so. Nothing that's out yet. Um, So, and it needs to be from Lightning Pokemon. It doesn't have to be like energies, but it needs to be from Lightning Pokemon. There aren't really any Lightning Pokemon. Oh, there's the good Lightning Pokemon of the Pikachu EX, but not like other good Lightning Pokemon. Well, there's another one, but it's not an attacker. The Magneton's like pretty solid. Um, but I don't really know the use cases on this card, but new supporters are cool, I guess. Nothing too crazy. But the Uxie, Mesprit, and the Zelf are really, really fun cards that I am looking forward to messing around with because I do like Spread and Frostlass. Frostlass does have the big issue of, not be like doing anything against Pokemon that don't have abilities. Like if your opponent has a Raging Bolt EX, they can just like manually attach a bunch for the entire game and just kind of win. So none of these attackers are applying. Well, I guess Mesprit will be applying a lot of pressure there, though. So Mesprit does have like potentially really high value within this deck. If you're not using Frostlass, it's very strong. If you're not using Frostlass with a Frostlass deck, how are things going? Probably not well, but it does add a layer of depth, which is pretty cool. But anyways, I'm really excited for these cards. I hope you are too, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Consider liking, subscribing, hitting the bell, all that good stuff. And as always, I'm excited to see you in the next video.